everybody, it's Kira. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a book tag for you guys. I haven't done one in quite a while, so I figured it'd be something fun to do. The tag I'm going to do today is the Guilty Readers tag, and this was originally created by Chammy over at Read Like Wildfire, so I will put her video in the description below. I was not tagged by anybody, but I just thought it'd be something fun to do. So, let's just get into the questions. The first question is, have you ever regifted a book that you've been given? And I do not believe so. If I have, it was definitely not on purpose. I don't tend to give books as gifts to people. If I do, I definitely go and buy them for people. If it has to do with books, I usually get them a gift card to go buy whatever books that they want to get, just because I'm usually not sure what kind of books they specifically want. Question 2 is, have you ever said you've read a book when you haven't? And the only time I can think of maybe was school. I tend to actually do assigned readings for school all through high school and so far in college. I think there was only one time so far this year that I've said that I read something, but I definitely did not. But I don't like feeling unprepared, and so I've found that if I don't read the book, I feel so unprepared, so I usually will read a book. If it's not for school, I'm quite upfront about what I tell people that I've read, so I can't think of any instances in which I've told somebody that I've read a book when I actually haven't. Question 3 is, have you ever borrowed a book and not returned it? No. I borrowed a book once from my friend, and I think I borrowed it for like 2 years. But I did eventually give it back to her, mostly because I know what that feels like to loan out a book and not have it returned. There was one time where I loaned a book to one of my friends, and I definitely did not get it back for like 2 years. I made sure to get it back before we graduated high school, so I do have the book. But the only other thing I can think of for this would be library books that I lost when I was younger. Question 4 is, have you ever read a series out of order? The one that I can think of for this answer is The Maze Runner, because the prequels came out after the original book. So I read I read the original trilogy, and then I read Kill Order, and then I read Fever Code, because Kill Order, again, was released later, and then Fever Code was the most recent book. But I've never done that, on purpose. I think that is, the only time that I can say that I've done it on purpose. Otherwise, I don't understand, jumping into the middle of a series. That doesn't make any sense. If it's by accident, because publishers didn't put the number on the covers or on the spines, that I understand, but that just doesn't make sense to me. Why would you do that? Question 5, have you ever spoiled a book for someone? Yes, I'm sure that I have. I don't intentionally go and spoil people, but I like to just talk about stuff that happens in books. And so, my best friend Molly is also a really big reader, and so we like to talk about books a lot. A lot of times, if I read a book, I tell her about the book, and then she's like, oh wow, I really want to read that. So, I'm sure, and then, I get so excited, I'm like, where are you at? What part are you at? I'm sure that I've spoiled her for so many things. Or, it'll happen for TV shows, too. I started watching The 100, and she had started watching it, a year ago or something, but hadn't gotten past the first couple of episodes, and so she was just like, really, you like it? And I'm like, no, it gets better, I promise. And so I told her stuff that was happening as I was watching it, and she's like, oh, that sounds really good, okay, now I want to watch it. So if I do spoil things, it's definitely out of my excitement in talking about the thing. I've never intentionally gone and been like, have you heard that Dumbledore dies? No, I don't do that. I'm not that kind of person. But I definitely have spoiled people for books, but they've all been accidental and because I was excited about the thing. Question 6 is, have you ever dog-eared a book? Yes, I went through a phase, probably middle school-ish, I think where I decided for some reason that I wasn't going to use bookmarks, I was going to dog ear instead. For some reason it was like cool at the time, like one of my friends had started doing it and so I just did it. I don't know. And the only other thing I can think of for this is school books. I have to read a book for one of my history classes and I definitely have dog-eared a couple pages of that. Normally I don't like dog-earing books nowadays just because I have so many bookmarks that it doesn't make any sense to not like use a bookmark. Question 7 is, have you ever told someone you don't own a book when you do? Not that I can think of. I'm actually usually excited to tell people, I'm like, oh yeah, I have that book. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Like, I like to tell people that I have books. I like to, I like lending out books in the sense that I want my friends to read them. I don't like lending out books in the sense that I might not get them back for a long time, but usually I'm very upfront with what books I have and what books I've read. If one of my friends thinks a book sounds cool, I'm like, here, I have a copy, I will let you borrow it. So I don't think I've ever told somebody that I don't own a book when I do. Number 8, have you ever told someone you haven't read a book when you have? I feel like this is targeted towards Twilight type stuff. I've not read Twilight, first of all, but I, again, don't think that I've ever done that. Like I said before, I'm very upfront with what books that I have read and haven't read, so I can't think of anything specifically in which I would have said that I haven't read a book and lied about reading it. Yeah, I don't think so. Number 9, have you ever skipped a chapter or a section of a book? The only time I've done this is when I'm rereading a book. Sometimes I reread certain pages or passages or chapters of my favorite books just because I want to, but never intentionally while I'm reading. I know A Number in the Ashes by Saba Tahir has a dual point of view, and it's very good at like something crazy will happen in one point of view and then it'll switch point of views and you're like, wait, what was happening? But I've never once like skipped the person's point of view to see what happened. So it's a struggle for sure, but I've never done that. And the last question is, have you ever bad-mouthed a book you actually liked? Bad-mouthing as in like being critical of it and pointing out flaws, definitely. Bad-mouthing it as in like, oh, I hated that book, no. I like the books that I like and I will tell people that I like them. If anything, like, if one of my friends didn't like the book, I would be sad. I'd either stay quiet and just kind of not say anything or just say like, oh, I really liked that book or I did like that book. I wouldn't badmouth the book just to go along with what my friends were saying. So that was all of the questions in the Guilty Readers book tag. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to tag Alma Loves Books. And I will leave her channel in the description below. She's one of my new subscribers and I am now subscribed to her, and she's super lovely and I'd love to see her do this tag. And if there's anyone else out there who hasn't done this tag, I feel like a lot of people have, but if you haven't, feel free to do this tag as well. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!